Hey everyone, it's Nico from NGB here, and we're going to talk to you about our picks for the top 10 games of 2020. It has been a year unlike any other, and I think it's safe to say gaming has kept me sane for the last 12 months. Today we're going to count down our choices for Game of the Year from 10 to 6, with the top half coming in another video next week. But before we dive in, we want to take a moment to recognise some of our favourite games that just missed out on a place in the top 10. Persona 5 Royale, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Demon Souls, Astro's Playroom, Doom Eternal. Without further ado, let's get started.
Been an isolated year, you've not seen the boys much, so what's the best way to keep up with them? You get online, you join the squad, you do a virtual murder. Warzone is probably the best way to do a virtual murder. There's a reason that it's the go-to first-person shooter, and it's the only game that your gran knows. It's got that classic, well-honed Call of Duty feel, but it's all wrapped up in a battle royale package with all your customisable weapons and operators. And everyone can get involved because it's free. Well, if you've got a PlayStation or an Xbox or so, and not everyone. But it's so easy to lose a lot of time here when the matchmaking is really slick, game modes rotate nicely. And if you're like me, you've had a few hours to spare this year. So really, what's not to enjoy here? It's free, it's shooty, unless you only play games that have whimsical talking forest animals. But for everyone else, I'd call this a lockdown essential.
Fall Guys blew up when Devolver Digital put this game into the hands of everyone with a PlayStation Plus subscription. It is incredibly easy for someone with zero experience in gaming to pick up, and the Takeshi's Castle style game was not something I'd ever thought I needed, but the frantic mess it can become is just pure bonkers fun. Fall Guys may not be revolutionary from a gameplay point of view, but it has been the right game at the right time in a year when an easygoing title you can play online with friends was sorely needed.
Phasmaphobia is an upcoming indie survival horror game developed and published by Kinetic Games. The game became available in early access through Steam in September 2020 and comes with VR support. The game exploded in popularity due to many well-known Twitch streamers and YouTubers playing it, mainly for the Halloween season. It was the best-selling game on Steam globally for several weeks in October to November 2020. The game won Best Debut Game of the Year at the Game Awards and was voted the best co-op game of 2020 by PC Gamer. As the game is still in its infancy, we can't wait to see what's to come, and it was my personal favourite game of 2020. Who doesn't like to be scared to death by their friends?
HalfLife Alyx is a VR first-person shooter developed and published by Valve. Set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2, players control Alyx Vance on a mission to seize a superweapon belonging to the alien Combine. Players use VR to interact with the environment and fight enemies, using gravity gloves to manipulate objects, just like the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. The game features traditional Half-Life elements such as physics puzzles, combat, exploration and survival horror elements. Released in March 2020, by April it was one of the top 20 PC games of all time based on the Metacritic aggregate score. It also received universal acclaim from critics and sets the bar high for future VR releases. It is also my personal game of the year.
Ghost of Tsushima was a very ambitious project for Sucker Punch, but what they achieved on their first attempt is nothing short of incredible. The world you dive into as Jin has been beautifully crafted with so much love, and you can see straight from the off just how much care and dedication has gone into creating a world that sticks to the roots of Japanese culture in a beautiful way. I'll admit and say that whilst I loved the game, it took me a while to understand why I love it. It's a very slow burner from a story and gameplay standpoint, but once it gets going, it's absolutely brilliant. Not only does Ghost of Tsushima have a great story, but also some of the best combat I've seen and used in a video game. It's rewarding and makes you appreciate its upgrade systems and the changing gameplay as you progress through the story. So many gameplay elements and visual cues have been borrowed from the Japanese cinema of yesteryear, and it's all tied into a package that feels great to play, but also true to its roots. Ghost of Tsushima is a phenomenal achievement and one that everyone should experience.
What do you think of our picks so far? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to see our top 5 and find out who has been crowned NGB's 2020 Game of the Year.